Alright, here we are on the inside. Please excuse the mess. This car is absolutely filthy. It's been here for 9 months. Not exactly in the spot, but just been here chilling at the shop for about that long. So, just please excuse any clutter you see. That's the ECU that I'm running. I'm running a Link G4 ECU. I've had way better luck running this ECU than what most Supra owners back in the States run, the AEM V2 and Infinity and so on and so forth. I actually replaced the AEM V2 with this because the only reason I bought the AEM V2 in the first place is because this car was originally a 4-speed automatic when I bought it. And at the time, I just couldn't afford to swap this car over, so I figured I'd just get a standalone and run the automatic until I could afford to swap it over, which didn't really work out in my favor, as a lot of the tuner shops here in Japan aren't really familiar with AEM. So I ended up bringing the car here, and everything just kind of fell into place. I happened to score a V160 swap from a friend of mine who was leaving Japan and going to Germany. So, Ricky, if you're watching, thanks a lot, buddy. I really appreciate it. So we ended up swapping it over, and we just went with the Link, because that's what this shop specializes in. We ran the AEM V2 for a little bit, even after we did swap it over, and it made 626 to the wheels, and that was on smaller injectors as well. Then we ended up changing the turbo over and all that good stuff, so I'll get to that in a minute. Let's see what else. This one here doesn't really work anymore. It's the no, I'm sorry, not this one. This one doesn't work anymore. That's the SAFC 2. That's what I was running before the standalone. The plan for this car originally was to kind of build it on a budget, because I bought this car very cheap. I bought this car for only like $4,800 US. I know it sounds hard to believe, but it's true. Back in 2015 January, these cars weren't really desirable because they were nowhere near ready to go back to the States. So people really didn't saw after them that much. And I let one get away when I was in Okinawa. It was a 6-speed manual, twin turbo, RZ, red. Black interior, and 115,000 kilometers on it, and the guy was trying to sell it for 10 grand or best offer, and nobody was taking it. And back then, at the time, I didn't really have the credit built up, so I couldn't get a loan for it, and that one ended up getting away. I was really upset about it, but everything worked out, so I ended up with this one. But once again, excuse the mess. I have the party seats. I know a lot of people don't really like these seats, but I think they're pretty comfortable and give the factory feeling, because these were a factory option for these cars. I ended up getting this from a friend of mine that were in his store. So he ended up letting me have these, and I thought it was a nice touch for this car. At this point, I'm really done sinking money into this car. I'm ready to move on to the next project. I will not be selling this car or anything like that. The AEM, I've been having bad luck with AEM just all around with their standalone and with their air-fuel ratio. This one doesn't really work well. These gauges are all the new DEFI gauges. I turned the car on and show you, but like I said, this car has been here for a long time and the battery is dead, so that's not gonna work. But what else do we have in here? I think that's just about it for the interior. There's not really much special in here. It's just the typical average Supra. The TRD Speedo, this actually came with the car. This turbo timer came with the car. It's just something that I just never took out or anything like that. And I was gonna change the tachometer as well, but I just never got around to it. So, but anyways, let me show you the outside. So one thing I relucted to mention last time when I was here is that we did in fact change calipers in the front. Once again, guys, I deeply apologize for it being so dirty. But we did have the twin turbo fronts, and they just weren't working well on the track. As you guys know, this car is built for time attack, and a lot of the track sessions I've had have all been trial and error. So I haven't tried it since it's had these brakes installed or anything like that, because these were installed over the summertime when I wasn't here. But these brakes are from the LS600H, and I had a custom bracket made in order to fit these, and they're a whole lot bigger, and I'm hoping that they're a lot better as well. It may be mainly because the track that I was running on was a smaller track, and you know, the constant more use of the brakes, of course, the end result is more fade. But this car is basically being built for the full course at Fuji Speedway, to be able to run out there. So I figured bigger is better, and they say brakes is how you get faster. So that's exactly what we went with. Oh man, this thing's a mess. But I don't think I've ever shown you guys under the hood, and this is it. Really dusty, really dirty. We have the Brian Cower 264 cams. We have SARD 850cc injectors. I did have the 650cc's in here at one point because I was trying to cheap out. I didn't think I would need any more, and honestly I didn't even think I would get past 500 horsepower in this car, but it happened, so we went with the bigger 850s. I'm not exactly sure where my turbo blanket is. I know I had to have another downpipe made for some reason, and it looks like my manifold is gonna have to be rewrapped as well. Like, the car is all half finished right now. It's a half finished product, so I apologize for showing this to you guys the way it is now, but I just wanted to give a small update on what else has been done besides for the upcoming exterior pieces. The Mishimoto radiator, this is new as well. This wasn't on here during my last track session, so it's gonna keep everything a lot cooler and a lot nicer. The last track session I had was the end of February, around this time of the year last year, end of February, beginning of March. So it really didn't creep up that much with the temperature, but I wanted to get it ready for the summer track sessions. With the BorgWarner 369 turbo, custom downpipe again. What else? Don't forget, Brian Cower cam gears, and got it clear so you can see through, and doesn't really do anything. It's just mainly cosmetic and just looks nice. Got to get a new battery, and like I said before, there's no other plans in upgrading this or anything, and I don't really want more than a 700 horse, because I still have another car down there to build, the R34 that I talked about last time in the video. So no other real plans for this. This is just about it, and I just want to get out and drive it and have fun. The point in this car, like I said, is time attack, and I don't know much, so I just want to get out and enjoy it and have fun with it as well. So like I was saying, this is pretty much the end chapter for this car. I really wish that I would have filmed everything over the, it's 2019, over the 4 years that I've had this car, because it's been a long journey. And one of my earlier videos that I made actually showed somewhat of what I started with, and it's pretty much come a long way since then. Once the body work is finished, then I'll show you guys the end result and everything. It's gonna be pretty epic looking, not your average Supra out there with the typical MVP front lip and stock body and TRD spoiler. So I actually want to drive this car and actually time attack it versus the stereotypical YouTube Supra with 1,000 wheel horsepower that's flying down the drag strip. That's not really what this car is made for. You know, it sounds kind of strange, given what the Supra image is for YouTube and things like that. But speaking of cornering, I've had a couple of questions private mailed to me asking what spoiler is on here. It's actually a Garage BB spoiler. I've seen only this spoiler on a couple of cars. I saw a couple of them for sale on Yahoo auctions, but not really too many of them. I just happened to walk by my friend's car and it had this spoiler on it, and he called me up one day and asked did I want to buy it, and I said yes immediately. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the Supra. And I appreciate you guys watching and kind of being there with me at the end of this journey and stuff. It's been a long road. As far as the new car goes that's just come out, I actually do plan on getting one. I know a lot of people don't like the car and things like that, but I figured with the new Supra and this car, I can daily drive that car and have this one for the weekends. This car is actually going to be a lot more expensive to repair and should something break versus the new car, because everything for this car is discontinued, so it makes life a whole lot more difficult. But yeah, so you guys stay tuned, and I will keep you guys updated on what happens with this car.